So what you're looking at currently is an absolute cluster. It has to do with, I made this video earlier. My whole theory is that I would actually, instead of building the camera, I'd kind of like break it down. Microphones died. So instead, this time we're using the shotgun audio. We're gonna do the build of the Lumix S5iiX. I've got the small rig cage. We've got multiple pieces of glass. We got a lot of goodies, and I just kind of wanted to build it. Like I said, originally I wanted to break it down, but ends up we're gonna build instead. So let's go ahead and start with, as you guys are seeing it, obviously we have the 70-200. We've got the Viltrax adapter that adapts to L mount. And of course we've got the small rig cage. We've got a little bit of a Manfrotto quick release plate here. And obviously we have the Lumix S5iiX. Now, I'm gonna actually show you what it would look like with the camera setup I use the most, which is not gonna be the nifty 50, but is actually gonna be the 24-105. I use this lens absolutely the most on this camera, and even on my S5, the same. I love the other options, the 70-200 and the nifty 50, but I just find this gives me the most range, especially for recently I've been doing a lot of event coverage, and that really does come in handy to have the super wide and then the ability to go pretty tight with the 105. So a lot of times I'm shooting ISO 640 or I'm shooting ISO 4000, the dual natives. I find you get a little bit less grain. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, we have the nice 24-105 with the Sigma MC21 adapter. We are going to have autofocus and lens stability capabilities, and with that quick release, I guess I should probably show you this, but this is some small rig rails, a small rig plate. We've got a Manfrotto quick release. We've got a small rig V-mount little setup here on the back, and yeah, some rails. And then we've got a power rig supply for the S5, and we've also got a D-tap for our monitor as well as we kind of start to build. But here we go. Camera, go ahead and flip that out. Boom. All we gotta do, tighten that up a little bit. Always find, if you don't, sometimes it moves around. And now we're already getting this thing to where we want it. You guys can kind of see here. We're getting close to what we need. All right, so here we are. We've got camera in what would be its kind of infancy phase of building it to what it's gonna be. But sneak little peek here. Now what we are gonna do is we'll go ahead and do the battery next. I use the power rig, or yeah, I think it's power rig, which is supplied to the camera and will be powered from the V-mount. Just goes up in there like that, and then there's that little rubber piece pops out. And now here in a couple minutes, we will then have camera battery power. Now as far as batteries goes, I'm using the 50-watt newer battery. Small rig has a version, pretty nice, a little bit more expensive than this. We've got one D-tap out, and then we've got USB out as well. So we do have a D-tap adapter that's going to go into the side of the battery. And I choose this particular battery. I've got a beefier one, a 98-watt-hour battery. It's a little bit bigger, but for shoots that are going to be anywhere from like 2 to 5 hours, I find this setup that you're going to see us build, it works pretty well, and you're going to have plenty of battery life, whether it be for the monitor, for the camera, and even some other goodies. So do our V-mount. There we are there. We've obviously got our power here. How many bars have we got? We've got 2. I've been using this quite a bit. But we'll go ahead and lean it back a little bit, and we will go ahead. Camera power supply. We've got the green indicator. Then we've also got our monitor supply here. I like to separate them because I don't need all 3, just give a little breather. This will then go up against the EVF, or the viewfinder. I think it's EVF, LVF maybe. And we're getting a lot closer to what this guy will look like here towards the end. But I hold this with one hand really just to show you guys, this is a big reason why here as we get to the final portion of this. The fact that I can hold this with one hand, I'm not the biggest dude, I'm not the strongest dude. This is just kind of really nice because then once I put it up against my shoulder, I put my hand on the bottom of our little cage setup or our rails. It's a pretty lightweight setup and it's pretty small, and it gives me a lot of stability, especially when we've got the Lumix Stabe, whether it be E-Stabe, whether it be the Boost IS, it doesn't matter, even just lens Stabe with this combination. Once you put that, you got a little bit of weight and you put that thing on your shoulder, boom, it's pretty solid. So next option, we're going to move to the handle, small rig handle. Now the small rig cage, the handle, and an actual HDMI and SSD little bracket that goes on the side all came with this little bitty kit. I want to say it was like $120. I've been very happy with it so far. Of course, I have an S5 cage, but the S5 cage will not work for the S5 or the S5iiX because of our little ventilation system. Now, I like this handle because it is so simple. You basically just slide it on there. I say it's simple, and look, boom, like that. And we turn it a couple times, and you're locked and loaded. And if I needed to take it off, boom, like that. It's so easy to take off, and it's pretty damn easy to put on there. Boom, we're all cranked down. Now we're getting closer. Now on the end of the handle, this did not come with the cage or setup, but this is a small rig monitor, little adapter. I've really enjoyed it. I want to say it was like 30 or 40 bucks. And then we're gonna put Old Faithful Atomos Shinobi SDI model. I got that because when I work on bigger productions, just having SDI can be a benefit. Now I'm gonna hand tighten that, but then we're also going to do a little Allen wrench. Boop, tighten that side, tighten this up, crank her down. And I've never had any issues with this setup in regards to the monitor mount. It's pretty damn solid. And once you crank it down, man, I mean, you're not gonna have to go back. I find with some of these things, man, you do one or two of these and then it's absolutely lost all its kind of like tightness, but not with this. Now, of course, we will then we won't move to HDMI, we'll do some battery power. Now this, I'll put a link in the description below off of Amazon. It's just is the Sony NPF battery? Yes, NPF, it's a dummy version. Boom, there we go. And here in a second, we should have some power. I will say I love this Shinobi, but it does take a second or two to power up. So if you're in a pinch, man, sometimes you just got to keep it running. All right, so we're fired up there. HDMI cord, a lot of you guys ask. This is a thick one I bought years ago. I think I have a link in the description. It's pretty awesome because I don't have to worry about it like breaking, but it's not that bendable. So you're kind of locked into only a couple of things you can really do with it. And here we go. Oh, we're already getting some signal, as you guys can see there. It's probably trying to autofocus, which is probably having fit. And then we will go ahead and move to our next item, which will start here, but this is our little, I don't even know what to call this, but I have a small rig version of it. I got this with my Viltrox light, the one that's actually lighting over there, about a year or two ago. I absolutely love it because it's so tiny, but I can't find it anywhere online. But we're gonna screw this in right here because we need some audio, or at least onboard audio outside of just the camera. Movo VXR10 Pro shotgun microphone. Hey, whether it's the Movo, whether it's the Rode, even Sarmonic, Deity, they all make good shotgun mics. These things, man, are saviors because I just find I get really good solid audio with them. And there's been a lot of times where I was in a pinch and the audio that I got on board really kind of was usable in the fact of like, whether it be sound design, maybe you're just wanting to record a band or something performing, it does really come in handy. So getting closer to the final product here, even when the microphone is mounted like this, I still have flexibility with my monitor. Of course, it rubs up against the monitor a little bit, but once you get it locked in place, not an issue. So if you're kind of wondering about that, that's kind of my go-to there. And you can start to see here what we got going on. Always trying to give plenty of space for my hand. I don't have big hands, but it bothers me when like a cable is touching my hand or something like that. So you guys can see right here, boom, getting closer to what we want. All right, so we've got our audio going in, we've got our HDMI, and obviously we've got our power to our monitor. Now I don't like all these cables to be loose, so what I'll do is take a couple of our little Velcro Movo strips, and I like to kind of bring them all together. And we don't want those cables to be too tight, but we do want them to at least not disrupt being able to pull focus and also being able to zoom in. So I like 2 of these, so I can make it a little bit cleaner. Okay. Ooh, it's getting hot here, and my HVAC kicked on. And there you guys go for that little setup right there. And as I mentioned, I can do my zooming, just like that, and I can pull focus, and I am never disrupted by the cables. I find that to be super valuable. And then even when I put my hand in there, you can see I have enough space that it's not bothering me. Everyone has their own way of doing it. That's just kind of my way. And yeah, boom, there you have it. I mean, that's pretty much the setup that we have for the Lumix S5iiX. If you're wondering, I have been shooting a lot of autofocus with this setup, with the 70-200. I do stay away from a lot of autofocus with the Nifty 50. It's just a super old lens. The motor, it just really doesn't satisfy. But tracking, center autofocus, human focus, all that good stuff works with all these lenses except, like I said, the Nifty 50. I also use the kit lens, which we're currently filming with the 2260, and I find autofocus is really well. Now I'm doing photography and videography, and this is my go-to setup whenever I'm kind of out and about filming. And that's the build kind of from nothing all the way to something of the Lumix S5iiX. Now, I will do my best to put all the products that were used in the description below, but hey, if I'm missing something, if there's a little goodie that you think I could add to the setup that would really help, or there's something maybe you're interested in. As far as this cage goes, I didn't mention earlier, it does have some locking mechanisms, which really, really makes me confident in regards to this cage and this camera being locked into place and never having to worry about too many issues of the camera falling out of the cage or anything like that. Also, we have a nice little tool at the bottom that can do the whole locking and tightening for everything. We've got plenty of mounts. Doesn't matter what it is, whether it's your microphone, whether it's your monitor, whether it's your handle. Everything in a nutshell is right there. And I've really been happy recently with this setup. I got it about a week or two ago. That's why I wanted to showcase it to you guys. I have goofed around with trying to do an SSD, but I still haven't found the right mount that I want to use or where I want to put it. But hey guys, it's Trey Lowell here with Lowell Productions, and as always, if you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like the content I keep creating here on the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And I said it in my last video, my HVAC, I guess it is summertime in here in Florida, but it always pops on. But hopefully the old shotgun mic, the old Zoom H6 will get us what we need. Comments, questions, concerned, greatly appreciated. I'm out.